Firebase is amazing right up until your app actually starts growing. You get users, your traffic goes up, and suddenly your backend isn't the problem anymore. It's actually your bill. And worse, you realize you don't actually even control your backend. Firebase does. But what if you could actually keep all the good parts? Auth, database, storage, real-time functions, all this, and run it yourself while still owning the data. This is AppWrite, an open source that a lot of devs have been switching to over the last year. Let's check it out and see how to set it up in just a few minutes. So we know Firebase gives us auth, real-time database, storage, messaging, all this good stuff. That's why so many devs actually start there. AppWrite gives us these same core building blocks plus teams, self-hosting, messaging providers, and even AI tools. The difference here is simple. It's your server, it's your VPS, it's your setup, and it's your rules. If you enjoy these kind of open source tools that speed up your dev workflow, be sure to subscribe to the Better Stack channel. Now with AppWrite, we get authentication with email, OAuth, magic links, anonymous sign-ins, and even MFA. You get real-time database with a mix of document and relational structure. You get storage with file transform. We get serverless functions in over 13 languages, messaging for push, email, SMS, all this good stuff, and you can self-host it or use the cloud. And here's the part that surprises most people. For something this powerful, it's actually really easy to self-host. So let's not just talk about it. Let's actually start to spin this up so I can show you guys how to actually integrate AppWrite into one of your projects. So the first step is simple. Make sure Docker is running, okay? And then within your terminal, I want you guys to fire up this command, and then we're gonna run a Docker compose command here. And that's it. The backend is already set up. It's ready to go. It's gonna bring us to this page where you can either create an account or log into your existing AppWrite account. Now we're going to create a new project here. I'm just going to call this to-do app because that's what we're showcasing. And then we're going to copy the project ID. We're going to need to add this to our env file later, which you can save it now, or you can just drop it into the env file directly. Next, we're going to add a web platform for local development. I'm going to go to auth, web apps, and then add platform. We can set the host name to just localhost, and we're going to save it as is. Now we can set up our database, and we're going to create a collection. Now the database is the whole, a collection is really just a table within that database, and we can create as many columns as you need. Now for this, I'm just going to use things like email, title, content, and let's just say user ID. We can go in here and set the permissions. Now, any is for anyone who's logged in or not logged in, so I'm just going to set those to read. Then everything else is going to be for a user who is already logged in. So it's a to-do list. Let's just do all the basic CRUD operations of read, update, delete, all this stuff. This is one of the best parts because AppWrite handles all this right here within the back end, and it's super easy. It's just us choosing a few boxes. Now we can connect it to our code. We can add the endpoint, all the data we have, which is really going to be our project ID, our database ID, and the table name itself directly into your project's env file. And what looks like a full backend setup is really just a few little pieces that we connected within AppWrite, and we took those into our code. Okay, now let's test it out. We can launch it. I'm going to go here and just create a new user account. So we're going to sign up. And then once we're logged in, we can actually try to create a task. I'm going to give it a title, and I'm going to give it some type of description, and we're going to add it. Voila, you can see here that there are no errors, right? It's pushing it to our application. And if we jump back into AppWrite, we can see some data coming through. Now, if I launch this in two tabs, in one tab we could be logged in, and in the other tab I'm not going to be logged in. If I push data in the first tab, it is going to populate the second tab that has the read-only field for anyone who's logged in or not logged in. So with a very small amount of code, we actually have everything synced together with authentication, and it's actually taking data and populating our database, pulling that so we can see it on multiple pages. So why are devs actually moving to AppWrite? Well, the first one is pretty obvious. It's ownership. You actually own the data, right? This is an open source project. It allows you to protect more of that. Plus, there's no pay-per-seat pricing, right? As you grow something with Firebase or Supabase, there are going to be hidden fees. Well, they're not really hidden, but there's going to be fees with those things. And most of the features that we have here in AppWrite, they already have them in Firebase and Supabase. So we're not actually missing out on anything. You can self-host it or use their cloud, and their SDKs are pretty good with things like React and Flutter. Now, again, it still is open source, so it's not amazing, but as devs, we can work most of these out pretty quickly, so it's not going to be a huge pain point. The first one is you need to know Docker, but that one's easy enough, okay? So if you know Docker, this is brilliant because we're just spinning it up really fast. There's no built-in global CDN or edge function, so if you want that, you're going to have to integrate something like Cloudflare. The database is MariaDB based, so it doesn't have Postgres like Supabase does. And if you want to scale big, you're going to need some type of monitoring, which is true for any type of self-hosted tool like this. And this is where tools like BetterStack really come into play here. Now, should you actually use this? Or maybe the better question is, who is this actually for? Maybe you're a dev or startup that's trying to avoid these growing bills. Okay, this is great. This is really cool. If you're more privacy focused and care about control, this is also going to be good. And Flutter and mobile devs who want really good SDKs, this is going to be great for that too. Remember, we're really decreasing the bill here. So if you're about saving money, that could be anyone here. Yeah, this is going to be a cool tool for that. If Firebase feels too expensive as you grow and Supabase just feels like too many moving parts, I feel like AppWrite might be just in the middle of this. That's why it's such a strong option here going into 2026. So in just a few minutes, we spun up a backend, we synced everything, and we got to see why this is a good option for so many devs looking for an alternative to Firebase and Supabase. If you want to give this a try, I've dropped some links and docs in the description. Head on over, check it out. It takes less than a few minutes to spin up, so it's definitely worth a shot. If you enjoy coding videos and open source tools like this one, be sure to subscribe to the BetterStack channel. We'll see you in another video.